Okay, so it is Sunday. I'm CJ. This week it's all about the apocalypse. I know that this is one of our fun topics, and for those of you who I think there's sometimes a little bit of tension about the fact that we do these kind of silly topics, and yeah, guys have just got to remember that we're all going through our own stuff, and everyone on the channel is going through various degrees of difficulties. So sometimes these fun topics do make our lives a bit easier, but also I'm a poet and I'm a thinker, kinda, and I kind of do love to consider the what ifs. There is a documentary I can't think of the name of that I once watched in one of those late nights. I'm just gonna binge on. I probably had an assignment due. It was kind of about signs of the upcoming whatever, and 90% of it was just this kind of casual racism of oh, America has a black president and apparently that's the end of the world. But then there were a couple of things in it that just really kind of freaked me out and made me think about the end of the world a lot for about a week, because I do like a end of whatever story. So yeah, so when apocalypse fiction was a thing, there was this book that came out called California by this writer Edan Lepucki. Lepucki. I don't know how you pronounce the name, but it's brilliant. I'll put a Goodreads link down here, and it's the best end of the world fiction I've ever read. And I think it was because I completely connected with the main character, who is aware of the fact that the world is ending, but is still intrinsically who they are. My big complaint about everything that happens in the apocalypse is how suddenly everybody knows how to hunt and skin a squirrel. I don't know how. I live in London. I don't even, I got twitchy about the fact that I had to live in Zone 3 for a while. I'm not going to be able to survive in the wild. Are you kidding me? I can ride a horse and I'm pretty handy, but I would die. I would die so fast. And so the thing I guess I really liked about this character was that she had dreams about Starbucks because there weren't Starbucks anymore. That would be me in the apocalypse. That would absolutely be the place that I'm sitting in, just being guys, I had another caramel macchiato dream. I can't do this. So yeah, so my entire complaint about, I have complaints about the apocalypse and its portrayal and the unrealistic portrayal, particularly in the media. If the apocalypse comes and there are zombies, you will find me fetal on the floor, crying and begging for death. Zombies scare the unholy whatsits off me. Partly because I think they just make me super nauseous. There's something about them that's there is this thing called the Valley of the Uncanny, and it's where stuff is kind of realistic but kind of not, and it can freak some people out. So that's why people don't like clowns, or they don't like toy animals that speak. That's a big one. People in masks, absolutely not. And obviously zombies. I cannot stand zombies. And so if there were zombies, it would definitely be a situation that I would opt out of. I'd be just take me as a human sacrifice. Maybe I'd be a self-loathing zombie. Probably I'd self-identify as a zombie with other zombie issues. Could you be a trans zombie? Why is that never talked about? Because I get zombies don't have sexual interests anymore. I'm assuming the blood flow situation doesn't do it. But gender? Not once in the history of anything is it. There's more zombie representation in films than there's trans representation in films. So I guess that's obviously a thing. But that is so weird. That is so weird that just occurred to me. I don't think Piggy believes that I would make it in the apocalypse. I feel his survival skills are actually pretty great. He's made it through all of the stuff he's made it through, so maybe we would make it. Do you think we'd make it? One of the things actually that I really loved, to go back to this documentary that freaked me the hell out, was in an awful lot of religions and in an awful lot of thought, there has been this concept that an apocalypse in some way, shape or form has to do with enlightenment, and it has to do with the consideration, and it has to do with the conception of existence that becomes aware of things on another level. But I think that's something that's kind of, significant, because people are really super into this concept of the world ending. But typically the concept of the apocalypse is that the world, one stage ends, but something else begins. I actually think that we could use a lot of that. I think there's a lot of things that are happening in the world that it's time for something new, and it has to do with how we treat people and how we treat the world and how we organise things. I'm definitely one of those people who, I don't believe that capitalism is working the way that it's being done right now. And I don't believe that an awful lot of the political systems that we have in place are functional. And I think a lot of that comes from the place that I sit in as an underrepresented member of society in a lot of ways, and also comes from my absolute awareness of my own privilege, because a lot of things are unfairly tilted towards me in a way that they shouldn't be, and that isn't okay either. And that's important that I guess we kind of register and become aware of and sort of work to fight and to, I've taken this into like a real political place, but I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry about it, because I think these are the sorts of things that like everyone wants to have these throwaway ideas of the world and how it's going to be and how good things are, and but like we can't handle the world the way it is right now. So if it takes a brand new kind of dawning consciousness, which, I don't mean to get all like Age of Aquarius on you, but like it could just simply be an entire conception of the fact that the world right now doesn't look like 1950s America, and that's okay. I think I'm here for it. I think I'm here for the apocalypse, which was not where I saw this video going in the first place. But yeah, I think I'm definitely in favour of the apocalypse, if that's what the apocalypse means. And what, if the world ends, the world ends. And every once in a while I like to make myself cry about what I do at the end of the world, which I can think of about 4 different people that I tell them that I love them. And then I just think, I don't want to know, because I think that would just give so much pressure. So if the end of the world happens tomorrow, maybe now I've finally gotten to a place where I can say that I wouldn't regret it. I haven't done all the stuff that I really want to do, absolutely not. But I feel like I've at least been making a pathway to getting there a little bit. So maybe that's all you can hope for. Maybe if you do, this idea of like people who don't even think about it, maybe do think about it. Maybe think about what you'd do. What would you improve? If tomorrow the world ended, would you have spent today in the right way? And if not, how are you going to fix that? And sometimes you've got to free yourself up from your own head, and sometimes you've got to free yourself up from other people's influences. But what would you do? What would you do differently if you knew that today had been the last day? And I don't know. Let me know. What do you think the end of the world looks like? That's it for me this week. But I'll talk to you next week.